Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, I wanted to start a new sort of resource that I'm going to be offering each month. It's going to be the moon messages for each life path number. And so I'm going to take a look at the numerology forecast and include animal wisdom messages for the full and the new moons each month. So we're going to start doing that for the full moon that's coming up on August 31st, 2023. So we'll take a deeper dive into each life path number, what you can expect, what energies you can be expecting to work with when it comes to the numerology, and then your animal wisdom message for that moon cycle. So for the day of the illumination, and then the couple weeks that follow. Of course, to get the most sort of dialed in, most accurate reading for your own personal journey, the best solution, of course, is a personal reading. So if you would like to book some time with me, my information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you and take a look. You can book some time with me there. And then also, if you are on my YouTube channel and you're a subscriber, or if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. But if you're a subscriber, make sure you hit the bell, because that way when I drop videos, you'll be alerted. And so you can catch those as they come out. And that also helps my channel kind of work with this crazy algorithm that we're working with YouTube these days. So I appreciate that in advance if you enjoy these videos. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Life path number 6. Okay, so for this full moon on August 31st, you are working with the energy of the 7 and the flamingo. And so there's definitely something here about balance, about sort of honoring all sides of yourself. So with the 7 energy, there's the very practical, logical, knowledgeable, truth-seeking side of the 7, which is saying, okay, seeing is believing. And then there's the other side of the 7, which is very spiritual. It's more ethereal. And so it's more of that understanding in things that we can't always explain. So it's like the more connected to our higher self, our intuition, our deeper inner knowing kind of energy. And then we become the bridge between the two with that 7, right? So in a 7 cycle, it can highlight some area where we are neglecting a side of ourselves. So in other words, if we're too grounded, then it's going to highlight where it is that we need to maybe open up or reconnect to our spirituality, our higher consciousness, our intuition, whatever that may be. Or if our head's too much in the clouds, then it can kind of highlight where it is that we need to get a little bit more grounded and sort of honor that side of ourselves. And so when we're talking about 7 energy, it's saying dig deeper, go beyond the illusion, go beyond what you're being presented with in the physical, because there's more to the story. And so that can be about connections, relationships, career, your own sort of inner psyche, or your belief systems, right? So the 7, especially at a full moons are often a culmination, some kind of ending or completion, or it's highlighting something that really is putting the spotlight on something that really needs our attention. So working through a 7 cycle, it's probably going to highlight some area where you're, again, maybe neglecting a side of yourself that needs to be honored. And what's interesting is with flamingo energy, right? So this is kind of like you think about the flamingo, and it's kind of I think it makes you think of like a balancing act, right? Because you have this energy of, usually you see the flamingo and they're standing on one leg. And so it's kind of like this balancing act. And so finding your center, so that this energy is coming through with flamingo as well. So again, if there's some area where you're neglecting yourself or you are overgiving, that's another thing with flamingo. When flamingos have children, and it doesn't have to be, this is a metaphor, it doesn't have to be associated with children in, your life, but when flamingos have their the baby birds, the baby flamingos, they will give so much of their own nutrients to their little ones that they actually, their color changes and they turn to white or like a light pink, right? Instead of that vibrant fluorescent pink color that we're so accustomed to seeing. So when they have those young, they basically deplete themselves of their own nutrients to sustain their children. And so I find it interesting this is coming through for sixes, because obviously six energy is such a nurturing, giving, like sometimes overgiving energy at times. And so with flamingo coming through, there's just something here about, and the seven too, right? Because seven is holistic health. And so and the body and the mind and the spirit coming together and centered and balanced. So I would say around this full moon, pay attention to where it is that you are depleting yourself, right? So whether it's like to your own spiritual practice, maybe you're just giving so much of yourself to your own spiritual practice or your own certain belief systems or doubts or whatever, that you're depleting yourself in that area. Or you could quite literally be giving too much, like overgiving to someone who is overtaking, and you are depleting yourself in that area. And so with these energies coming through at this full moon, I do think that it'll highlight some area where you need to come back into balance, where you need to honor that side of yourself because you've been neglecting that side of yourself potentially. So pay attention to that. What will happen with the flamingos after, of course, they're young, are able to sustain themselves, they will then, of course, refeed and sustain, and then their color comes back, right? But I just think that that's very poignant, given that you all are sixes and, a keynote of six energy, especially when you're in your shadow, which isn't a bad thing. It's part of the journey of the six, but it can be that over giving, over compensating, over just really that generous spirit, but given to an extreme, and that can deplete the giver, right? So if there's an area in your life that you've been doing that, I think that it'll come to light around this full moon for modification, for adjustment, and for you to start that process. The other thing is, this is an area where if you feel like you've gotten stagnant, like as far as like your sort of intellectual growth, sort of your learning process, right? This would be a great time to go back to school, to take a new course, to brush up on something, right? To just dive deeper and just sort of immerse yourself into learning something new, whether it's a language, whether it's a new skill set, whether it's enhancing a current, expertise or skill set. This is a great time to initiate that around this full moon, or you could see completion of that. So if you're looking to graduate or looking to get some kind of certificate or whatever the case may be, or some kind of promotion that was sort of contingent on you receiving that additional education, you could see that all come to culmination now, which is exciting. So, but I would say definitely if there's any kind of coursework or any kind of like workshop or self-help things, whatever, or just any kind of investigative, like learning, digging deeper kind of opportunity is very much supported around this full moon. So, but just don't forget to keep coming back to your center, balance yourself, and any area any part of your sort of life where you feel that you're depleting yourself, this is the time to really pay attention to that and sort of get that in check. And this full moon is going to give you potentially the opportunity to do that. So you just have to sort of take it, right? So beautiful energy coming through for you all. And this can also be a time too, if you've been so busy sort of helping other people or doing things for others or whatever the case may be, this could be a time really to go deeper into sort of self-reflection, self-contemplation. You could see more intuitive gifts open up to you, or that muscle become a lot stronger, right? Or, psychic gifts or whatever. And this is a great time to play in the metaphysical as well, if you feel called to do that. But ultimately, when we're in a 7 cycle, it's saying don't neglect the physical side of yourself and this physical experience, the human experience, but don't don't neglect the soul side of yourself either, that more ethereal, more metaphysical side of yourself, because they're both going to hold the answers that you're potentially looking for. So I hope it's a beautiful full moon for you all. Take care, 6s. Bye for now.